There we go. Okay, guys, what is up? Welcome to the weekly poll. Of course, you guys will notice that we are without Benny today. Benny is apparently not feeling too great. He's feeling a little under the weather at the moment. So it's myself, and it's Joel, and it's Sal, and it's Tiffany. And we started a little bit early because we got a lot of news today. A lot of stuff to run over today.
It's a big week, big week.
Very big week. So, Joel, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I guess one of the biggest pieces of news that was making the rounds.
Should we go in reverse order? You started with the two biggest pieces. I don't think anyone's going to give a shit about Nick Fury's comic series after we're done talking about the two other things.
That's a good idea, Sal. Let's actually do that for a change. Let's work in reverse order of relevance. And you already said it. Nick Fury Jr., the Sam Jackson guy, he's getting a new series now, which I'm sure will last about 5 issues.
Man,
every time he comes out, he gets a couple of books, and then that's it.
Well, then that's what they should do. They should just do a miniseries.
Yeah, they should do Nick Fury, 3 issues.
See into the future, okay, and then be like, there you go, that's your hook.
Yeah.
This is it, the story.
This is all you're going to get.
Yeah, so you better get it.
Is it just weird? Does Marvel seem to be afraid of miniseries these days, outside, like, Unworthy Thor?
What's hilarious is Marvel literally is just producing nothing but miniseries with all the cancellations that they pull out. It's like, but yeah, there's no official miniseries. I guess because then they're like, you know what? Well, okay. I imagine that the reason why why publishers are afraid of miniseries is because they're like, oh, cool, that means that there's a definitive ending? Yeah, I'll trade weight. I won't buy the cover price.
DC's doing it a bunch with, characters that, have cult followings, but, probably wouldn't be able to hold up to a main series. That's why you get your Captain Adams, and you get your Deadmans, and your Hawkman Stranges and everything.
Oh, it's a great idea.
But if they're going to trade weight, I mean, Marvel is not scared about putting a high cover price on a trade. It's not like Image, where when you trade weight, you're getting, like, a great deal on all of the floppies that you would have bought, Like, I don't know, but they really shouldn't matter to them.
4 issues for $25, eat it.
They get even weirder stuff like Mockingbird, where it's like, well, it's a mini now, but if it does good, we'll push it for a couple more issues and we'll see what's going on there. And even Thanos, where I'm like, okay, this is awesome, I can't wait to read this. I don't see this being longer than a miniseries, though, because he's dying and people are trying to kill him. What's volume 2 of Thanos going to be like?
Well, so here's my question about Nick Fury. Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, like what story? Like, what story are you going to tell with Nick Fury? Nick Fury's never been interesting. Like, Nick Fury was interesting when he was actually doing stuff, when it was like Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. But it's like I would have read. See, here was the deal. When they did Original Sin, and they were like, hey, remember how like the original Nick Fury was a man on the wall? I would have read that series where he was just like going around and killing stuff. Like, but they ended up turning it into Bucky Barnes' Man on the Wall, and no one read it. So it was
nobody
like,
read it. And from what I understand, those who do read it did not really dig it.
No, it was not very good at all. No, like the best thing they've done with Bucky Barnes is what they're doing right now with Thunderbolts. Like, that's actually pretty enjoyable if you guys are checking it out.
I was going to say, if I do believe this new Nick Fury series continues on from where Choosing Sides Civil War 2 left off, for anyone who read that, and I'm guessing I'm the only one, Nick Fury Jr. was like the one solid story that carried throughout all these anthologies. He faked his own death, and he was trying to, fight a shadow faction inside S.H.I.E.L.D. itself. Basically every Nick Fury story you've ever heard ever.
Sounds very familiar, yeah.
Well,
Which is why you don't see him in the current Cap book, because I think everyone assumes he's still dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing, is because for me, like, you had Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D. when the LMDs took over. You had Nick Fury's Secret War, which is actually pretty fun. And that was like the original Nick Fury. So it's like, I mean, with the like Nick Fury Jr. or whatever, are they using Nick Fury Jr. or is it Ultimate Nick Fury?
It's Nick Fury Jr.
Oh, okay. Then I care even less, because
exactly. No, they killed Nick Fury, Ultimate Nick Fury. Like,
that's what I thought.
That's the real problem, is like, after Secret Wars, all you gotta do is say that he's Ultimate Nick Fury, who's an absolute badass. I mean, like, sure, okay, I'm gonna openly admit that I didn't read a lot of Nick Fury Jr. adventures, but those that I did, I was totally turned off by and kind of not interested in. So I'm like, I'm not going to keep reading it hoping that one day they'll get good. That's not how I spend my money. So, but like, with Nick Fury, with Ultimate Nick Fury, he has like a history, and he's like got a character, and he has a lot of experience, and his grizzled, like, yet altruistic nature really makes him a a Nick Fury character.
Mhm.
And so bringing him, and of course, because he was in the Squadron Supreme universe for a period of time, like, the dude is no stranger to going to alternate realities and still kicking ass and taking charge. So it's like, yeah, it stands to reason that, like, Ultimate Nick Fury being like, oh, like, wow, I thought my planet blew up, but apparently I'm fine, and I'm in this weird place with more colorful characters. Screw it, I'm in charge. Like, just
seemed like a missed opportunity, didn't it? Especially when you see what they're doing with Old Man Logan right now from another universe, really making him fit. Miles Morales, the Maker, which I think so far like the only two Ultimate characters who are still hanging around. Oh, and the Hammer, I guess. Thor's other Hammer.
Yeah, Ultimate Hammer. Also, what was it called? Spider-Man 2099. They did a whole bunch of stuff with.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's a lot of different characters that are just from displaced realities that have made a name for themselves. Gwen Stacy's here every other Thursday.
That's true.
Yes, she is.
And her world is the most interesting part of that series, so I think it's funny that she hopscotches
Well,
back.
she does. Like, who would leave such an interesting place? She's constantly here. I'm like, this place is boring. Your place is cool.
Dude, Matt Murdock is the Kingpin. The Thing is a cop. Punisher's
Well,
a cop.
see, that's the worst thing is they haven't even fully explored it. Like, I want to see, like, I want to know, like, her, like, I would read a series of stories that was just about her universe, like a guide to the Gwen Stacy universe, like Spider-Gwen universe, because then, like,
they kind of have those in the back of the issues. They have like little encyclopedia things, like you used to buy in the Marvel encyclopedia.
Oh, really?
No, I don't mean like encyclopedias, like the Marvel Handbook. I mean, like you just kind of call it the guide, but it would just be stories. Yeah, it'd be actual stories. Yeah. No, I mean, I could. Yeah, I don't want a Marvel Handbook for Gwen Stacy.
There's a lot of good information in those, actually. Like, you hear about how the Punisher didn't go to war and he had a family, but he was still such a jerk he ended up pushing them away, or how Matt Murdock was actually, like, kind of, raised by the mob in this universe, and, like, he was Wilson Fisk's buddy for a time, but then he got him sent to jail so he could be the Kingpin, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I'd read this.
Yeah.
These are great pitches for Elseworld stories.
I was going to say, so basically where this conversation has gone is you don't care at all.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
care
not
about a
really.
Nick Fury series. I'm not
So
gonna buy
I
that.
think what this Nick Fury series needs to do is prove that he's a badass. Like, he has to wake up somewhere, whether it be the Savage Land or like in the heart of Russia or somewhere, and it's just
Madripoor.
and it's just him alone
Yeah.
proving himself.
Yes. Naked
Yeah.
and alone.
Yeah, there you go.
Why are there no Madripoor books? I would totally read the hell out of a Madripoor set book.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not? Well, that should be this, but it's too late now. They already wrote this. So.
No, it's true. It's already done.
I had a great
Yeah.
pitch for like a Mystique solo series back when she was running Madripoor, where it's like, a West Wing kind of procedural where she's like, oh, what am I doing today? Gotta defuse a gang war, gotta sell some crack, typical bad guy stuff.
I mean,
Fine.
Mystique and Madripoor was actually kind of cool. See, that's kind of the crazy thing is, like, environments like that, like, they touch on, but they never do anything with. Like, hey, here's Madripoor, the place where, like, no one goes. The superheroes don't go. S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't go, because if you're not if you're not a villain and you show up there, you will not make it out alive. And so it's just like, it's the Wild West, no man's land. And that's
Well,
a really cool kind of thing.
Taskmaster is sheriff of Madripoor right now. Let's make that a pitch. He's got to keep peace amongst all these different warring villain factions, and he treats it like a Wild West town. It's like, hey, leave your gadgets and your gimmicks at the door. You get them when you leave. If not, you have to fight me.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Like,
Okay.
Justified with Taskmaster. That's a book.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so,
Wait, wait.
Rob, you got a subscriber.
what?
Rant 718 just subscribed with Twitch Prime.
Splooge.
Thanks, Rob.
Did we miss? I feel like we missed a sub somewhere. Did we miss a sub chat?
We might
Did
have.
we miss a sub in there somewhere?
Good luck.
Splooge. Anyway.
The safety
Yeah.
splooge.
Yeah, it's the good luck splooge.
So, what's the next one?
So an image got put out just recently about what is probably going to be the next big Captain America, if not the next big Marvel event, and it's Captain America Secret Empire.
We missed Dutchy. That's Dutchy 415. Splooge.
Nice.
You get your splooge, Dutchy. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Good call, good call. Yeah,
Oh, man.
so Cap's getting an event right on the heels of Civil War II, one of probably, I'd say this is probably the most universally reviled Marvel event ever. Certainly in recent years, definitely within the last decade. I don't know, did people like Black Vortex?
No, I don't think so. I think they forgot it pretty quick. I will
Yeah.
say, though, Nick Spencer will probably have the helm on this. Nick Spencer had the helm on, what was it, Pleasant Hill?
Yeah.
Which was the good Marvel event that came out last year that no one seems to remember because it was tight and it was concentrated.
Well, because
Also,
it wasn't like
it had
super
no
advertised.
numbers.
Yeah.
All over the place. It was poorly advertised. It was like every issue could be like, no, just put it out in order.
Yeah.
Hey, you had an Alpha and an Omega, and then it went through all the Avengers books. That's how I was sold to me.
Not the way to do it, but
maybe they'll do better this time.
yeah. But that said, Secret what? What is it? Secret Empire?
Secret Empire.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean,
seek to imply that Captain America either builds a secret empire and is victorious, or people uncover what he's been doing this whole time, and that's where everything comes to a head.
well,
Wasn't there also an organization that was called the Secret Empire that
Yes.
had silly red outfits?
They sure did. They showed up in USA Avengers this week, or
That's
There you
right.
go.
With their
So,
volcano fortress.
I'm just
Yeah, right.
saying, you already just put them in.
Yeah,
Well-
we just established them.
see, here's the thing. Here's the problem though. Here's kind of like the issue that you have, like Captain America, Steve Rogers as a Hydra agent it's amazing. It's some of the best Captain America stories since like storytelling since Ed Brubaker.
Yeah.
But it's like the Ulysses thing. Like, where do you go? People were like, "Hey, why did Ulysses end up going with Eternity?" He's like, "Shit, if I know," because Bendis didn't know what to do with him after he
Because
finished.
he wrote
Like,
into a fucking corner. That's
yeah,
That's where Bendis plot device characters go into obscurity.
they go to the cornfields, and so I was like, I was like,
Your
I've-
battle make you go to the corn again.
yeah, like you go to the cornfield. No, like it's Nick Spencer's writing is good. I have full faith that he'll flesh it out. But here's the kicker, man. It's like it's names give you an indication, but names can be wildly misconstrued. Like Unworthy Thor. When I heard we're getting Unworthy Thor, I was like, what? Like, that sounds stupid. And it's one of the best Thor runs ever. Like, when it was like Mark Miller's writing a story called Old Man Logan, where he's an old man. It's like, you know what? I don't care about Wolverine as an old man. Why would I read a story about Wolverine as old, where he's just yelling at kids to get off his lawn? I don't care about that, And it's an amazing story. So, and it led to one of the really, really cool runs, one of the best runs that we have so far. By the way, did you guys see that picture I tweeted out? An ad for whatchamacallit? Dude, I would read the hell out of that. Yeah, Jeff Lemire, Sorrentino, Punisher.
Right
Dude, that would be that'd be such an amazing. I was fanboying, and it was midnight, and I had an aching to Photoshop something, but no, I mean that's I think it'll be kind of cool. Calling it like Secret Empire it's a very dismissive title.
Yeah, it's very forgettable. It's not
it
very
is.
dynamic, but it does follow the Marvel code because everything in Marvel is either a war or it's secret or both.
Yeah.
But so I like the idea of it being a secret empire, especially since Captain America being a Hydra agent's a secret. So it's still, at least it works. Civil War II was neither civil nor a war, so it's just like, who cares? And was a total misnomer. With this, at least I think there is going to be, like, Secret Empire should mean something.
Right, but they're running into that problem now where they're like, well, this is Secret Empire. There was also an organization called the Secret Empire.
But they're not the same thing.
But they may not be the same thing.
Well, it's like that Alpha Flight book that came out where it's like Alpha Flight, but it will not be about Canadian superheroes. Instead, it will be about space, and it's like that's not Alpha Flight at all.
What are you doing?
And they called it that because there was a team called Alpha Flight. Like there was.
Yeah.
It's not because it was just weird that Alpha Flight was like, let's do a book about space, and Alpha Flight sounds cool and it works. But there's also a long-standing team with the same name that has nothing to do with your story called Alpha Flight, and it's like that kind of confusing. But Spencer's clever and interesting, clever and smart. So I think Spencer might. I don't think there's. I think that the reason why the Secret Empire shows up in U.S. Avengers, and we're getting this drop for Secret Empire, I think there will be some kind of connection.
You think so?
I do. I think there'll be something there.
I think that's pretty lame if Cap is they're not they were in there as a joke. They had they had a flying volcano. You know what I mean?
My theory is that it'll be like Sphinx in the Venture Brothers, where it's
nice.
Cap will have taken over the Secret Empire.
You're my guy.
Like, I need all their volcano technology and their helicarriers, and they just need somebody cool to run it.
Maybe instead what it'll be is he's the true Secret Empire.
Yes.
And they were just a bunch of losers who were pretending to be the Secret Empire.
Speaking of Cap reactivating old villain cells, if you've been reading the Sam Wilson book, Captain America actually rebuilt Ultimatum with a new robot flag smasher as kind of a false flag operation to get people looking over here. He's doing that a lot. He's keeping the heroes nice and busy.
Exactly. No, it's a brilliant idea. I'm ready for Spencer to bring it to a head.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Secret Empire is the culmination.
It's funny. Here's my theory, because there's really only a couple ways Nick Spencer could end this storyline. Either Kobik puts him back exactly the way he was, fixing everything, or Captain America goes from, like, you know, anti-hero, anti-villain all around to becoming a hero once again, but history stays the same. If they have, like, but if Kobik changes the timeline again, it could rip a hole in time and space, so you're just gonna have to live with your past as a Hydra sleeper agent. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, but how do you do that? I mean, Captain America is like the moral Superman of Marvel. Like he inspires people. Yeah, people don't inspire him. It's not like, I mean, people don't, like, no one inspires Captain America to do good. Like, Captain America inspires people to do good. So it's like, if the guy who's supposed to be an inspiration has to be inspired, well, then the basis behind Captain America just vanishes. So it's like, but then again, I mean, I like this, but I am kind of that opinion, because I think in some ways, and I think maybe it's Civil War II that's just kind of like fatigued a lot of people, where it's just like, are we really at a major event again? Like, I think that Civil War II is kind of burned. I know that for me, Civil War II kind of burned me out on Marvel. I was like, dude, God,
not just us, but like retailers as well. Like people who were effective participants in the comic book industry were hurt by Civil War.
Oh yeah. What bothers me is like Civil War II, it was coming no matter what, right? Who cares, right?
Yeah, we knew it was coming.
The whole, like, the kaiju thing, I'm excited for that.
Marvel,
but I'm just saying, like, fewer people are going to be excited about that because it's another event, you know, and they're billing it as such. You know, it's not like it's like, here's a fun trade we put out.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, here's a graphic novel about cool shit. Nope.
You know,
it doesn't look to not be as big and involve as many books.
No, but you know what? Like, that doesn't matter. Involved or not, people are going to have that in the back of their head. They're like, we just had Civil War II. We have Secret Empire coming out. Like, what am I doing? Am I going to buy this?
Well, I think the Monsters thing is Marvel admitting, like, well, look, we can't not do an event, but it's a palate cleanser. It's silly and dumb. Enjoy.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing, man.
Need your money.
But like
you
character.
Just put out comics.
No, get that, because we're not a comic book company. We're a multimedia pop culture influencing group.
Right. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Well, but here's the thing. Like crossing over isn't bad. Having big events is the problem. Like, hey guys, here's another earth-shattering event. It's like, yeah, but the last one was an earth-shattering event. Yeah, but this one will shatter it more.
The use every week.
Yeah, like
the Marvel universe will never be the same.
Yeah, and except for last time. Like, it's, you know, but nonetheless, like, it's like having characters crossover works. Like, you could have not had Civil War II, and everything would have been great. Like, it would have been fine. Like, seriously, everything would have been fine. Because look at, like, for those of you guys out there right now who think I'm hashing against Marvel, ranting against Marvel, give me a second. Look at the Marvel landscape right now. All right, remove Civil War II from the equation. Let's pretend Civil War II never happened. All right, you have Avengers Standoff. It's an Avengers-contained story. Avengers Standoff, where it turns out that S.H.I.E.L.D. was using a cosmic cube to literally control people's backstories, manipulate their minds, and make them believe, you know, basically hold them prisoner. All right? Evil shit, all right? After that, like after, you know, Avengers Standoff, Captain America's entire past is really manipulated by the Red Skull using a sentient cosmic cube. Not the first time we've seen it, but the way they did it was like the way they did a sentient cosmic cube was awesome. The Beyonder was a sentient cosmic cube. Molecule Man was a sentient cosmic cube. You had you know, Cubic back in the day. Like, you had all these, you know, sentient cubes. You had what's the name of that Sal? What was the one that was a scroll? The sentient cosmic cube that was a scroll?
I don't know.
The scrolls made a cosmic cube, and then I can't remember what his name was, but there's been a lot of sentient cosmic cubes, but the way they did it was great. But you've got Captain America as a Hydra agent, where he's going off doing his own thing. You've got Jane Foster Thor, which is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. You've got the Unworthy Thor miniseries, which shows us what Thor's doing. You've got Iron Man. You've got Riri Williams. You've got you have so many great stories going on right now.
Yeah.
But all of that gets mud thrown on it because of something like Civil War II. So that's why.
Yeah, it was really tough.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho Hulk is fun. Like the Incredible Hulk Bruce Banner was just
about the Jennifer Walters one that comes apart as a
spin-off. Oh yeah. That one's good enough. But I like Amadeus Cho Hulk. Like it's Bruce Banner Hulk was just angry at the world. Amadeus Cho's like, hey ladies, I'm a Hulk. Like, let's go bang. You know, I mean, he's a frat boy. Yeah, he's dude bro Hulk. He's a fun Hulk.
Shaper of Worlds.
Shaper of Worlds. There we go. No, it's there are some great stories, and people I think have a tendency to look down, and it's like one of those things where the loudest voice in the room is the one that gets heard, you know. And
that's how it always always is.
That's how it always is.
And let us not forget, too, bad events come and go. This isn't the first bad event that made things weird for a bit. It won't be the last. Things will even out, and then maybe the next one will be good, maybe the next one will be bad. I don't know.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like the events that people don't like are the events that are determined by marketing as opposed to quality storytelling. Like Apocalypse Wars was a marketing ploy. Civil War II was a marketing ploy. It was, we have to write this story, not because it's genuinely good and someone was sitting at home one day drinking a cup of coffee and said, hey, I have a great idea. It was like, hey, we need to do this because the movie's coming out and we can capitalize on it. And the reason why it's crap is because it's not thought out. Like, it's not fleshed out. Like, Axel Alonso said they had 4 months to plan Civil War.
Which is nuts.
Like, and all the time. That's nowhere near enough time to plan out an event like that. And so, because of that, it's in all honesty, if I were Marvel, and I don't know if Marvel's just hesitant to do it, I don't know if Marvel's like, we're not DC, I would take the character-driven story route. Like, it would just be like character stories. Like, members of the Avengers will cross over. Captain America might be in the Avengers, because having Hydra Captain America is great because it changes everything. Like, it made Civil War 2 better, but it's like while all this stuff is going on, while Captain America has his front face where he's hanging out with Old Man Logan, and you got Hawkeye, like, hey man, we're in your corner if you need us. Like, on the backside, he's evil. Like, he's just working, he's scheming, yeah, he's working against the superhero community. He's trying to take over the world. And so, like, it comes out really, really cool because that whole dichotomy is introduced where on the front he's a good guy, on the back he's a bad guy. You have all these great stories, and I think that things like Civil War II just kind of throw it away. It kind of, says, because Marvel's like, hey guys, Civil War II, Civil War II, Civil War II, Civil War II. They're not like, unworthy Thor, unworthy Thor, unworthy. You don't see them advertising unworthy Thor all over the place. Like even Jane Foster Thor wasn't a super advertised thing. Jane Foster Thor got hype because fans gave it hype. Fans hyped it up. Like
the strength of the writing. Yeah.
Exactly.
They hype characters, but they don't hype the stories that they're in.
That's
You'll hear Marvel talk about, Ms. Marvel and how Kamala Khan's so awesome. Well, like, name one story that she's in.
Yeah.
I don't mean like fans do that. I mean like Marvel, sell the stories she's in.
There's good
what's
shit.
the best one? Like, what are 3 of the best Kamala Khan stories?
She went back
Tell
to Pakistan
them.
and fought water cartels. That's good stuff. That's timely. Tell that.
Yeah.
But as far as Secret Empire is concerned, do you have hope, or do you think it's just going to be another damn thing? Like,
It's Nick Spencer. Yeah, I trust Nick Spencer. I think it's going to be.
I want to see where this story goes. Like, I'm interested. I'm in.
I'm not even a huge Nick Spencer author fan. I'm not a huge fan of his writing, but I know that as a craftsman and as a storyteller, he's really good. So I trust his story. I might not read Secret Empire, but I certainly think that it will have more merit than Civil War II.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I just wish they wouldn't make it an event.
Yeah.
Don't make it
Well,
an event.
it could. By the way,
Just
we don't
tell
even
the
know if it's an
story.
event. It could just be the name of the Captain America.
This is true.
It's kind of weird to put something out like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they clearly spent about 5 minutes in Photoshop making it, because it's literally just a PNG of his shield and Secret and Empire.
My assumption is the book will go through the Captain America, Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, Thunderbolts, and probably the other 3 Avengers books, and that'll
Makes
be it.
sense.
Yeah.
Even though Cap isn't anywhere near those Avengers books.
No, not anymore. He's not.
Well,
Marvel just feels like they need to hype stuff up before it comes out, and that just I get it. Sometimes it used to be pride, you were like
Because you were so excited about
you're
what
excited
you had.
about what was coming out, and now it just seems like they're like, oh my god, what if we don't make money?
Yeah, it's like you're not in
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Moving on.
yeah.
powerless.
Yeah, so NBC's Powerless show has actually undergone major reworking. You may remember this story was pitched before. It's going to be, hey, it's a wacky single-camera comedy set in the DC universe with a bunch of insurance adjusters. And I'm sure you're out there wondering, wait, isn't that the plot to Damage Control? Yeah, we're getting both, actually, in both universes, 2 wildly similar shows.
Yeah.
This one, though, they went the extra mile of saying, well, now the company they all work at, going to be a subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises, and we're going to put some more comic stuff in there. And all I can think is, like, you weren't doing that before?
Yeah.
What was this then?
Yeah.
What was your plan?
What the fuck was this previously?
Maybe, you know what, like, that depends, because, like, CW has Gotham, technically.
No, Fox has got.
Well, Fox has Gotham. But you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
why it's the shitty one.
but I'm just saying, like, they may not have had originally the rights
That's true.
to jump in on that. They may have had to, like, DC might have had to, like, bring the hammer in and be like, no.
No, you have to make it Wayne.
Give it that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it depending on who has rights to what, because you never know how that stuff's split up. Like, it's like you have the rights to these characters, but maybe not the rights to a corporation.
And Warner Brothers is known for putting in stupid, self-defeating embargoes. Let us not forget the age of the Bat embargo during the Chris Nolan movies, which robbed us of having pre-established Batman the Animated Series characters on Justice League. Yeah, we got Joker by the end, but he was the one rare exception.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it could just have been something cleared up, and they're like, okay, now we have this.
Yep.
Let's go back.
Or they just fought harder for it. They're probably like, I'm sick of having us... Because it's an NBC show. It's not a CW show. It's not even a Fox show. And CBS lost Supergirl. Well, canceled Supergirl. And then CW picked it up. Like, it's already got a couple of strikes against it because it's not at home with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can't... Like, I could see Warner Brothers being like, we can't keep licensing out our shows to companies that don't care about what we're doing, and then they'll cancel them, and then we just buy them anyway. Like, why don't we just do it right the first time?
Yeah.
Please.
It's funny, too, like, at this point, with this show coming out here, they'll be on every basic cable network except for ABC, which will never touch them.
No.
But they've been everywhere.
Yes. yeah. Like, Warner Brothers has been on CW, NBC, CBS, Fox. Like, it's been everywhere. But ABC, of course.
Yeah.
Isn't there also like a Black Lightning show they're developing for Fox too? They had to come out and say, yeah, this isn't going to be part of the CW. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's on a totally different net. Why don't you just put Black Lightning in the CW universe? You've clearly shown you do a good job having characters show up, and if they're popular enough, you either put them on Legends or spin them off into their own thing.
Or give them a cartoon show.
Or give them a cartoon show. The Ray is getting a cartoon show.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Freedom Fighters Ray, yeah.
For the Powerless thing, though, I'm excited because Alan Tudyk's involved.
Yeah.
And so is
Abed.
Danny Puddy?
Yeah.
Puddy? Not sure how to say his last name. Yeah. He's good. He's really cool.
Yes,
so,
he is.
That's exciting.
Yeah, he was great in Winter Soldier.
He was.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on.
This is a big one.
Yes. Yeah, I'll let you take this one, Sal, because you were very impassioned about this on social media.
So it used to be that you would go in a comic book store, you buy a single issue of a Marvel book, and it came with a digital promo code, so you could download a digital copy of the book you just bought. So you had like a backup or a digital copy, so you could read your comic wherever you want, and you're supporting local businesses. Well, Marvel says, no, we're going to drop that. You can't. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to give you a digital promo code, and it'll give you access to books from 30 years ago. So like you can download like a digital copy of a book from like that is randomly disassociated from the book that you're buying. So like let's say you buy like an issue of Spider-Gwen, you can get a digital promo code that'll get you an issue of Deathlock from 1991.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best years for
Deathlock.
Is
the code? Do you know what book you're getting?
No.
Is it random?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you get to pick it?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. The point.
And it has no association with the book you bought.
It probably doesn't have any affiliation. Like, well, just the fact that they are dropping the buy physical get digital, like, thing sucks.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, like, I get that. Like, I'm sure there was a moment where they're like, wait. They literally just went to a brick and mortar store and they bought a physical copy of a book, and then we said, but just in case, here's your digital version.
That's right.
When they could just go and buy the digital version and skip that whole other part.
Well, I assumed it was Marvel giving back to the mom and pop shops and the brick and mortars to keep them in business a little longer.
Oh yeah, no. Where I'm going with this is that like they had that realization where they were like, if they wanted the digital, they would have bought the digital in the first place.
The cruel
so
truth.
If you want to continue with this whole code thing, they probably were like, we have all these things that we're digitizing now.
That's exactly right. Yeah, well, they have Marvel Now, so they're Marvel Unlimited, so they have like thousands of back issues that are digital and available, and they're just getting for, not free, but like for pennies on the dollar because they're paying them on these.
Now, of course, the big difference, I guess, will happen is if you now buy them digitally through someone like Comixology,
you don't get shit.
You don't actually really own the book. You're kind of renting it. Like you don't you can download it to your device, but it's still through.
If Comixology goes tits up, your books will go away.
Unless they don't.
That's the scary future of owning digital media. I feel the same way about video games. Do I really own what's on my PlayStation Plus? No, I don't.
Well, according to the people that you bought it from, no, you don't. Like,
that's interesting.
Nope, we got a splooge.
You got a splooge?
Juan Deb 22A.
Give 6 splooges, please, Rob. Wow, 6 splooges. Wow, okay.
It's not a machine guy.
6 splooges. Let's stretch.
Someone's gonna look away.
All
All
right.
right.
Splooge, 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 splooge. 6 splooges. You get 6 splooges. All right. Wow. I've never splooged that much before. Not digitally anyway.
It was a good night.
No, okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel's testing the waters with digital sales. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because here's the deal. If Marvel sits down and they say, okay, guys, you buy Captain America Steve Rogers #1, and you get a digital promo code, and then somebody goes and grabs a digital promo code, then the question, because the only way they can answer the question really of why did people buy this? Did they buy it to have the physical copy, or did they buy it because they just want the digital copy and they threw the physical in the trash? The only way to answer that is to go through and to literally just split the difference. And you just say, hey, you can buy physical or you can buy digital. And then you just track the sales of each one. And so if digital sales skyrocket, then people are buying digital. And if, the physical sales plummet, then, of course, And so it creates an interesting situation. In all honesty, I would say it's smarter to go digital instead of physical. It'll put a lot of stores out of business, but
It's the way the winds are blowing.
it's the way the winds are blowing. Well, plus for me, like with Comixology, I can fire up the Comixology app and read anywhere I go.
Yep.
Yeah.
As opposed to having to
Sounds
tote
like
around.
nice.
Exactly.
The
Like
Netflix of comics.
it is, man. Well, because what's more reasonable, carrying around 6 trades, or just having them on your Comixology app?
No, it's absolutely true. And like look at Saga 41. You know what I mean? Like they had what they felt was a printing issue. Like there was a problem with the coloring. Like it came out too dark, and so like the cover was a disaster, and inside wasn't so great, right? So they decided they wanted to go back to print on that. I mean, it's not a huge issue, but the digital was not harmed.
Yep.
Nobody had to print that. It's right there. Even if there was an issue, how much faster is it to fix that? Like, oh, I just have to upload a new file. Done. Okay, cool.
Oh, one of the big transitions for me from physical to digital was, I remember one time I got up and it was snowing real bad and it was a new Wednesday and I'm like, oh, I got to read books. And I just went like, oh yeah, you know what? Burp, 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 and I had them all. I was like, I am never going to a comic book store again.
Now, I still do for some things.
I like comic books.
I still
Me
go.
too.
I still buy Saga in floppies. I
Yes.
still do to this day.
Because you did. Like, you
Because
had
I
them
did,
all.
because I had them all. When AD After Death, the Snyder miniseries came out, it was like a special formatted book. I had to go and buy that, and I don't regret that. But I do buy more things digitally now, and I'm wondering if with this new initiative of giving you an older book, if they're trying to also see if they see an increase in sales in older titles, because they give you one issue from something.
That's a great idea.
What if you're reading that, you're like, oh, but what happens? Well, now I gotta go and find this, which I'm sure there'll be some sort of link or something that could take you to their store to buy the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean, and I like having physical media for the shows.
Yeah.
I need a trade paperback in order to do the show, but when it comes to me reading, it doesn't matter to me. I kind of like the guided view, so I don't mind.
I love the guided view. It doesn't let me sneak ahead.
Yeah.
It bugs me in that way. I'm always like, look, app, I'll read where I want to read. You don't tell me where
Yeah.
I get to
Oh,
read.
no,
Sometimes-
I want to tell me. I'm such a person who I'm reading on and then I'll open the next spread and I immediately look to the right.
Yep.
And I
You
ruin
see
it.
what happens. Yep.
I'm a disaster.
I've been surprised more times reading digital comics than ever before. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, some of the funny things is too, when you get those artists Sorrentino is a perfect example. With Sorrentino, there's no panels; it's just a page of stuff, and so it's just sometimes you don't know which part you should be reading. It's you go through, and then Wolverine drops this huge revelation. It's wait a minute, it's oh no, I missed
That's
one
his
part.
thing.
Yeah, but no, I mean the idea of I'm really hoping this doesn't kill off mom and pop stores, because to be honest, digital is a lot more convenient. I love digital. I could read it on an iPad or whatever, anybody can read it on a tablet. But there's also something to be said about who's typing. Is Benny typing, or is that you?
That's me as Benny.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I just realized I'm not streaming. I don't actually have to have this open. My bad.
no, it's fine.
I like Rob's OCD kicked in there for a second. Who's typing? I cannot.
Who is that?
Well, no, I just didn't realize anybody else was logged in, because I was logged in, and I was like, but no, I mean, there's also something about going in and just talking to people. The great thing about brick and mortar stores is you go in there and there's like-minded people who are looking. If you're going through and you're looking you're grabbing your trades or grabbing your pulls rather, you know, and then there's somebody there who's just like looking at a thing, then you just strike up a conversation. Like, hey,
Unity.
Exactly, you know, and it gives you, you know, you make friends, you just kind of chit chat. But the reason why that's important to me, though, is because when I was young, that's how you did it. There was no digital.
Yeah.
Like, all you could do was go to the store, and you had conversations with people, and you ran into some weird people. That one person that buys comics that hasn't showered in a week. Like, you run into all kinds of weird and crazy people.
And if you don't know that guy, you are that guy.
You are that
Oh my
guy.
God, let me tell you something. I remember as a child, like a little kid, my parents were like, comic book stores, comics are for children, here you go, off you go, see you in a couple hours. And I'm like at the comic book store. I never met a single child at the comic book store when I was one.
Yeah.
And the people that I did meet, I were like full-grown adults. Like there was a man called the Man in Black. He was an older man who wore head-to-toe black, but like the black clothes were like leather and like biker jackets and a cowboy hat and sunglasses and boots, and he like had a whole thing, and he didn't have a name. He was called the Man in Black. And I remember being like, that guy's friggin' awesome, because when you're like 7, that's awesome. And I remember my comic book retailer, who hates everyone, was just like, he's not cool. He lives with his mother. You don't want to be like him. You want to dress like a person, like me. And he was wearing like a button-down like flannel shirt and like khakis. He's like, trust me. You want to be behind the counter. You don't want to be you.
Oh no, I don't know how you do with your guy, but like we'll make fun of people at my comic book store. Like we'll write on like people that walk in. We'll just be like, dude, what is that guy? What is that guy's deal? Oh, okay.
Yeah. My comic book store, which isn't really my comic book store,
but it's the one that you go to. So
always forgets they have a reward service there.
Yeah.
Every single time I'm there, they're like, "Do you have our rewards?" And I'm like, "Yes." Just like the last 20 times you've asked me, the answer is still yes. Unless you deleted my account, the answer is yes.
It's always yes. I'm
Yeah.
here like literally every couple of weeks.
And I gotta tell you, like, the thing I like about the comic book store is I am way more willing to find something like in there that I didn't know about, because I have the opportunity to pick it up and leaf through it.
Yeah.
On like Comixology, you can only look at the first 3 pages.
Yeah,
That's
that
never
sucks.
enough for me, because I'm not looking to read the comic in the store, but I am looking to like leaf through the art to see how it looks, if there's anything catching in there. And like I
Yeah.
have picked up so many random things because of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love comic book stores because I like discovering them. I like finding out there is one in an area that I'm visiting, and then seeing how they do it. Like, where do you put the couch? You know, that kind of thing. When you're in an apartment complex, you're like, okay.
When are your Magic the Gathering tournaments? Is there a D&D game going on in the back? What do you do, because no store can just stay afloat just doing comics anymore? You need to do another thing.
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, like, they're all very different. Like, there's one in Somerville,
What?
the Comic Cave or something.
Oh yeah.
And I love the Comic Cave because, like,
Oh, no, it's Comic Fortress.
Comic Fortress, that's right. The Comic Cave is in, like, Connecticut. But the Comic Fortress is a cool store because, like, it's totally different from any other store I've ever been to. And they have a huge section of, like, really discounted trades in the back. And it's, like,
Nice.
the discounted trade section is... you would think it's bigger than the trades section, like the regular trades, except their trade section is triple the size of their discount trade section. It's unparalleled. I never leave a comic book store without buying something. That's the thing I love about a comic book store.
Yeah.
But I always buy something at a comic book.
You don't always. Sometimes I.
Sometimes you do it. but,
Usually,
like,
he'll like if we are there together, he's like, I just gotta grab this thing, and then I've spent $35, and I'm like, what happened?
yeah, well, I have very discerning tastes.
Oh.
It's funny.
You're
You know what
so
actually?
funny.
You know what killed my going to comic book stores, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, getting well known on YouTube and hence reviewing more comics. Like, if you've seen my channel, I'll review like I'll review almost everything that comes out in a week. And because of that, I can't be hauling all those. I can't be keeping that in my place in long boxes. I need digital. Furthermore, digital makes it a lot easier to like make my little snapshots to make my videos.
Yeah.
And everything. Is the deal actually, you know, trying to do more with comics has stopped me from going to the stores. It's amazing.
No, I don't have any goddamn room.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
We gotta put those away.
Marvel
Where?
Comics. Is that 75 years of Marvel Comics back there?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, this is actually a gift from the population. Somebody sent me this.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, moving on. Next topic.
That was a good topic, though.
Yeah.
So I guess the next big thing we can talk about here, hey, you remember Constantine, that show that was destined to die in the death slot on the Death Knight? and it was so terrible because it actually got so much right, and the dude who was playing Constantine clearly loved it because he keeps coming back to do it and everything.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming back again for a brand new CW Seed animated show. For those who never saw the Vixen shows, they made one 22-minute episode, then chopped it up into 5-minute chunks for no goddamn reason.
Wow.
Are they doing it? And they're doing it again with Constantine.
Apparently, it's supposed to be 10 minutes now, so there you go.
Oh boy.
Well, honestly, I think they're just trying to find a way to save it, which I agree with, because the guy that played Constantine was legit. I mean, that Constantine series was not bad. It didn't hold my interest as well as The Flash, but it wasn't like, man, that sucks. It was like, I mean, that's entertaining.
It was the best, most faithful version we've gotten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's I don't know. See, my thought on Constantine, like, because we had this discussion about Punisher when we were talking about, like, you know, the current Punisher run, which isn't bad. I mean, I covered Volume 1. It's not terrible. But Punisher is a Marvel Max title. Punisher should only ever be a Marvel Max title. Like, I always kind of felt like with Constantine, it's similar to the same way because it deals with, like, angels and demons and all that kind of stuff. Like, throw him in Vertigo and keep him in Vertigo. Like, that's where you get all your angels and demons and stuff anyway. So why not, like, keep Constantine in part of that crowd?
Because there's nothing wrong with letting them bleed into the DC universe. It's nice to have the DC universe have like a mystical, dark underbelly sometimes, and not just have it be relegated to Vertigo did for DC and for comics in general. But like, I don't think there's anything wrong with letting Constantine play with the big boys sometimes.
Well, okay, but if Constantine was
he's great
like
on Justice League Action, if you've seen that, he's freaking amazing.
Okay, but here's the deal: if Constantine was such a solid character, and if the idea of like that dark element of comics was so legit, then why isn't there a Justice League Dark anymore?
Because
the movie got fucked over. That's why they had planned to do a new one, but then they're like, "No movie, we're not doing it now."
Well, I'm just saying. I didn't realize that got dropped.
I don't know, because I mean, they just did a rebirth. You know what I mean? Like, they are trickling out new books like every few months. You never know where it's gonna go. Constantine got its own book out of this. He is in the DC universe. They're trying to bring him back to its roots. You know what I mean? There was a lot wrong with Constantine prior to Rebirth, and like they're just getting him back to someplace comfortable now. I don't appreciate the fact that they're gonna do this like crummy animated show. I'd much rather see them do like a pairing with an Asian like anime company. You know what I mean? Like there's an anime called Death Parade, and like I feel like that group, the people who did that, it would be a great style for it. Like, I don't know, he just fits really well into that, and they're already leaning towards that style anyway in most of their animated features. But like, just go for it. Like, make it a Netflix animated show. Oh
God, you know what I would love out of Constantine? A Constantine motion comic. Like that, I think would be pretty solid. Like just like you bring the guy who played Constantine back, but he's a voice actor, all right, who plays Constantine. You know, and dude, I would love a Constantine motion comic. Did you guys ever see the Superman Red Sun motion comic?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I would love to see a Constantine motion comic. I think it'd be solid. The problem is there isn't a huge market for that, and it's so expensive to do.
This CW Seed show also has a couple things working against it right out the gate. When people are like, "Hey, will it pick up where the live-action show left off?" Maybe anything could happen. Is it connected to the CW Arrowverse? Will we be seeing more crossover? Anything can happen.
Dude, I really wish they'd done more with Constantine in the CW Arrowverse. Like it was cool to see him show up.
Put him on the goddamn Legends. Why can't you put him on that team?
Yeah, there's a demon wreaking havoc, possessing people. Might as well. I mean, you got a guy that runs super fast and a dude who's impossibly accurate and people who travel through time. I'd do that, but
yeah. But yeah, so
also too, if you've seen the animation still that they showed from this, it's literally just Constantine's character model from that new Justice League Dark movie. So it looks like they're actually recycling assets for the show too.
That's a shame. Well, I know. Well, listen, we all know that Warner Brothers executives and like high-ranking officials in DC watch this show. So hopefully they will just take the suggestion of doing an animated version or an anime version, because I think that would be great. Pair up. Get Crunchyroll, get Funimation, get one of them, do a little pairing, get it on Netflix, get it on Funimation, get it on wherever.
Just eat up all the Vertigo properties. Do like Slump Thing and
Sandman
and
anime.
Be cool. Anyway,
sorry, I'm excited.
No. So let's make fun of Rob Liefeld a little bit.
A bunch of his properties have been optioned by Weed Row, which, I mean, really, they must have been smoking the Weed Row if they thought people wanted to see Rob Liefeld movies. Waka waka.
I knew that joke was coming.
That's some low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Damn right. But the low-hanging fruit's the sweetest. Sometimes you just want to grab it.
Making fun of Rob Liefeld is just so, I don't know.
It's like making fun of a clown.
Where do you start?
It's easy. It is the definition of shooting crappy fish in a barrel.
Yeah, but that said, so if you're not familiar, Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios got optioned, and every property you don't remember is going to be, at least Rob Liefeld will be paid for the opportunity for them to make movies based on them.
Okay.
That does not include Youngblood. That does not include Supreme. That does not.
Oh,
the
shit.
problem.
So even the ones I know aren't getting paid.
Nope.
But it includes Blood
It
Wolf.
probably includes Blood Wolf.
Wow.
So we
Okay.
finally got a Blood Wolf movie.
I had to look him up just to make sure he was made by Rob Liefeld. Like, we need to see some GW Bridge action. Yes, we need to see a guy who is impossibly huge. Like, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go look up GW. Go look up like X-Force #1, and go look up GW Bridge, like 1990s GW Bridge. He was an impossibly huge guy. That was back to the whole 90s Marvel craze, where it was like everything needs to be high tech. Like everything needs to be like super high tech. Like Hank Pym needs to look like a space marine from Aliens. Like we have to have it look that way. Like, dude, he looked exactly like he looked like Hicks. But
what do you think the pouch budget will be on these new films?
Oh,
hopefully
exorbitant.
astronomical. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, are we talking about live action or animated?
No, these are going to be live action.
They're going to be live action films
It's
based on
impossible.
Liefeld.
Nobody
Someone
looks
thought-
like that.
Yeah.
Someone thought this was a good idea.
I don't
It's
understand.
hard to find actors with no feet. They're not going to be ripped the way that he wants them to be. Their veins probably won't be in the right positioning because they,
Well, they're
how
look.
they
They're
are.
going to have to bring in, a makeup artist with a lot of veining work.
Yes.
You know?
Well, okay, but here's the deal,
The
though.
world
Like,
is not ready for the eccentricities of War Child and Prophet.
dude, no, I would read.
$1 billion franchises.
Dude, I would watch an X-Force movie. Like Cable's X-Force team, like the old New Mutants that got rolled over. That you will watch it. Dude, I would be hyped about. Anything else, probably not. I mean, like Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza were like the 1-2 punch for characters that were kind of overly exaggerated back then. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, you got Deadpool. That's like the most famous. Like nobody goes to an autograph signing by Rob Liefeld and brings anything but Deadpool. Like, dude, they'll get him to sign Deadpool when Joe
Not
Kelly
bringing
wrote
their
it. Like,
profit copies.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know,
But
man.
would you watch an Evangeline?
oh, Evangeline. No.
And let's
Forgot he
face it,
invented her too. She was one of the first characters to be an example that critics and feminists were like, this is what's wrong with comic books.
Yeah.
She was one of the first shining examples. Her and I think maybe Lady Death, but at least Lady Death had an origin.
Yeah.
Was
Bloodstrike or Bloodpool
Or Blood or Pool Blood
or Kill Blood.
or
Punch and all those other great characters.
what about Threnody? Was she a Rob Liefeld character?
Rennet.
Threnody. She was the one that was banging Nate Gray back in the day. Oh, she was a Fabian Nicieza character. Richard Bennett and Fabian Nicieza.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And like, let's harbor no illusions, too. The only reason that this is happening is because Deadpool did amazing at the box office and because Rob Liefeld is the best advocate for Rob Liefeld, was sure to go around and say, well, I'm the creator of Deadpool. That was me. I totally created him. I have lots of good ideas. And, some executive in a suit and Weed Row was like, I believe in this man. Let's do this. This is what the world needs.
I was going to say, for this stupid pairing to happen, for this ridiculous contract, this must have been a disaster because Liefeld had his own company and they worked with Image, and you know what I mean? Like, nothing, there are very few things I'm sure that they can go back and be like, this is just yours?
Right.
Whose is this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants this?
Who owns a piece of this?
Yeah,
Who
you
do
know
I have
what I
to- how
mean?
many checks have to write for us to make a movie about this character?
I saw in the chat someone mentioned, Cyberforce. It's like,
You don't own Cyberforce, Rob Liefeld. You can't
No.
sell that.
you can't sell that. But, even if you created it, this has to be a legal nightmare for them.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that you'll probably
Fighting American, he doesn't own that one, that's for sure.
right? So, we may end up just seeing him pick out the lamest of the lame characters that he created because nobody will take ownership of them.
No. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, here's a problem. Like, I mean, that's 100% right because if they come along and they grab, was he the one that rolled over X-Force, the X-Force concept? I think he.
Yeah.
Or-
Rob Liefeld helped develop X-Force, yeah.
Or was he the one that created Cable? Because Cable appeared in 1989.
He also
Co-create.
created Cable.
Okay, so if he were to come along and he were to say, "Hey, we're going to do Cable," Like, we're going to do Cable's character because I made him. Okay, but there were like 50 people who wrote him. And even if, like, you did, like, okay, so what Cable do we pick? Because there were so many different versions. Like, do we pick the original Cable? Do we pick, like, the Messiah Complex Cable? Like, do we pick the Cable who was, like, part of X-Force and then also part of X-Men? Like, which Cable do we pick? Because there were so many people who were writing them. Yeah, I guess it is all that Cable, but it's like which version? And Deadpool's even more of a murky water because then you have Rob Liefeld's Deadpool, then you have Joe Kelly Deadpool, then you have Christopher Priest Deadpool, then you have Gail Simone, you have Daniel Way, or not? Yeah, you have Gail Simone, you have Daniel Way, Coleman. You have so many different versions of like so many people who wrote it and who contributed to it and helped to change his character and make it popular.
People who made the character good, right? Not just the Deathstroke. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, no, like Rob Liefeld's Deadpool, he wasn't bad. There were some pretty good moments with his Deadpool.
Yeah, Nicieza was writing that shit.
But going like with what you're talking about, where it's like, okay, so Image when it first came out, and it still is, like it's a creator-owned company in a sense, right? But we don't really know what those contracts look like back then. We don't know what kind of things that they signed off, right? So I know you mentioned Youngblood.
Yeah. And
originally that's been published by a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah.
Technically he created it, but what if along the lines one of those publishers put something in there? What if one of those characters isn't available? You know what I mean? Like, this is a nightmare. Like, it's hard enough for Marvel and DC to untangle
their own mess,
their own stuff, and like they sure have sold things off or whatever, but like they're not like it's not like
it's all owned by one company.
Exactly. This is a bunch of different people have published books created by this guy.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, they're making a deal with his current company, which means you may not even see any old characters. It could be all new things that he's come up with.
Man.
It's funny, too. I'm sure, we all read the articles there and the hot takes of being like, when is the superhero movie, doomed to become irrelevant? When will they finally start scraping the bottom of the barrel? I think we're here now. I think we are scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
Well, how about this? What if they make a, like very aware of itself B superhero movie?
Yeah, I would watch the crap out of a, legitimate 90s Youngblood movie.
Like a wink.
Yeah.
Rob's not really aware of what we're doing, but everybody else very aware of what we're doing.
Stealthily taking the piss out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I think we had that with Mystery Men. Like, just a nonsensical B-movie superhero.
But Mystery Men was everything about it was incredibly aware of itself.
Yeah.
And that was even prior to us really having this, superhero, genre, renaissance of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are ahead of themselves. This could be
for me, it's not 2003 anymore.
It's
movies
not.
Buying up properties of the comic books just because that's the craze should be over. That should be long over.
Right.
And yet we still see it every once in a while. Some studio will be like, I'm getting on the bandwagon for Malibu or something, and you're like, what? All right. I mean, I
don't know if you've read a book in a couple of years, but Malibu ain't so hot anymore, dog.
Yeah, exactly. But somebody told me that it's available, so I bought it. Good for you, man.
And sometimes companies, they just buy these to make sure no one else can buy them.
Right.
I don't know.
Buy them to sit on them and do nothing with them.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Did you there's an article that I don't even know who they are, posted about the whole Liefeld thing, and then I clicked on the individual Akiva Goldsman, who's producing this whole thing. Clicked on them. Another article from November came up about Evangeline.
Yeah.
Including
Wow.
So okay, Evangeline's definitely in the hopper.
Megan Fox is Evangeline.
No,
oh my God.
Well,
I just made a movie. Where's my money, Akiva? Where is it, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, so
the cameo. It's fine.
All right, so moving on to our next topic.
Yeah, let's do that. Cool.
Okay, so have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Supergirl and Flash are going to be having another crossover soon, but it's not going to be any crossover. It's going to be a musical episode because obviously Gustin can sing, as we have seen, and the villain for this episode is the Music Meister.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They like to do that. That's a thing.
Yeah, the musical thing is very popular amongst people who watch the CW, so I can totally understand that happening. Ain't my cup of tea. They did it with Buffy and Angel and High School Musical or whatever, but whatever. I won't watch just like I don't watch the other.
Will Neil Patrick Harris be the music meister like he was in Batman: Brave and the Bold? I think that kind of
Makes
needs
sense.
to happen.
Right? Can they afford him?
Or like
that's
Nathan Fillion or somebody. It'd be somebody fun, somebody enjoyable is what it would be. No, I don't know. I mean, okay, here's my question: is it going to be like an actual crossover, or is it going to be like the Supergirl version, like the Supergirl episode of Dominators, where like she didn't cross over with anybody until the last 5 minutes, you know? And then it was like, hey, we came here to grab you.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could literally be that like Supergirl's singing a goddamn solo, and she like flips a switch, and a portal to like whatever the hell opens up, and Barry's there, and he sings like a couple of lines, and then the portal closes back up again.
She literally does have a switch now after the end of Dominator. She quite literally has a switch she can flip now to hop universes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if they're doing a musical, there's a lot more that has to go into that.
Mm-hmm.
And with other crossovers, so they might make it a legitimate crossover to try to save money, to be like, okay, we have to do this all at the same time, and we're just gonna put them all in.
Yep.
That way we don't have to worry about writing like 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. Like, I'll watch it. I'm excited about it.
Same. Everyone's going to be talking about it. Be like, hey, remember that time they did a musical episode?
Man, I really hope
like,
Candace Patton's in it, man. Candace Patton's my homegirl.
It's very popular. It's a very popular device. I have no doubt it'll be very successful.
Yeah.
Here's my thing right now. They're going to totally golden age it is what they're going to do. Music Meister is going to hit Flash and Supergirl with a ray gun that makes it so they can only sing, and so they need to beat him and get the ray gun.
Dude, that would actually work. That would be some straight up golden age stuff, is what that would be. That's some Justice Society of America stuff.
That is exactly what that would be. That's probably the plot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, so well, I guess that's that for that topic.
Yeah, what's next?
So we actually got a photo of the Justice.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, Superman, not even there. I tweeted out, I was like, so I assume he's going to show up at the end, and I really hope we get the super mullet. I hope we do. I really hope we get the black outfit and the super mullet.
Black suit, super mullet, beats up.
I want to see Henry Cavill. I want to see Henry Cavill in a mullet. I was watching the Man from Uncle, and like I was like, I want to see that Henry Cavill with a mullet. That's what I want to see. I really want to see that.
Justice League looks weird without Superman, doesn't it?
It does.
It does. It looks a little imbalanced. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like you kind of miss him.
And Cyborg standing in the middle too almost makes you believe, man, are they going to push Victor in this movie? Is he actually going to have a serious party standing in the middle?
I think they just put him in the middle because that was the easiest place to put him. Because he's really weirdly short compared to everybody else.
Symmetry is important when you make these.
Well, nobody would notice him if he was off to the side because he's forgettable.
It's so goddamn dark.
Wow.
What was your joke, Sal? There, Batman's like, "Hey, everyone, meet me in the basement to practice our frowning."
Everybody is frowning except for Flash, who just looks really baffled.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's a photo.
Yeah, we don't even know.
This could not be in the movie. This could be at the beginning. This could be at the end. It's impossible to judge. All we can see are costumes. Like, that's it. We have no idea. I mean, how many times have you taken a photo of someone and, like, it doesn't represent at all the tone of what's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have no idea. We literally have no idea. You know? Like, yeah, Batman looks amazing. Like, he looks awesome. Like, I think that the costume looks great, but that's all I can tell because I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I
do know that Cyborg's crotch looks like Megatron.
My buddy Matt was saying that on Comic Multiverse. I agree.
I'm curious. I'm curious what they do because, like, you could not find a more contrasting set of personalities in the Justice League. That's one of the things that made it cool was that they were all so different. Like Cyborg's just kind of like the babysitter, but Aquaman is like, I'm from the ocean, like, you know, like Justice League is second to whatever happens in the ocean, you know, right. And Wonder Woman's like, well, I'm just here because, you know, whatever, I'm curious to see what the outside world is like, you know, plus I could wreck most of you, you know. Batman's like, hey man, I'm just here to make sure you guys don't screw anything up, and Superman's like, let's be hopeful about the future, you know, and so it's like, it's or
at least he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be. There's really contrasting views, which, I mean, is why the stories work, you know, I mean, in terms of the Justice League itself, but, well, depending on who you talk to right now, a lot of people don't like it, but I'm curious, like, if the writing's not there, this movie will flop in the extreme, like... Yeah.
Oh, it'll still make a lot of money. It'll just be another thing. Like, people will be mad at it.
If it's not good, like if the buzz is no indicator, because like here's the thing: you're kicking off the Justice League. Justice League should be the Avengers of the of the DC universe. You're like, whoa, this is awesome. And in fact, the Avengers should be like the Justice League of the Marvel universe. But that being said, whoever came first. But you got Aquaman, so you got to overcome the stigma of Aquaman. Aquaman rocks, and there's no question about that. But the fact is, like, Joe Q like
Joe
movie
Popcorn.
seat filler is not gonna know Aquaman from the joke about Aquaman. You got Cyborg, which is like, who's that? And that's it. And then you got Flash, who's like, looks just happy to be there. So
But Flash is like, hey,
Oh,
you
yeah, I
wanna
forgot
see
about
him
Flash.
on the TV.
yeah,
I like
he
him on the
TV. Is he
TV.
the same guy?
Yeah.
I guarantee you there'd be a frustrating amount of people who are confused and annoyed that's not the same Flash as the one from the TV show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't mean because they're like upset Grant Gustin didn't get his play. I mean they're going to be upset and confused because they're going to be like, he doesn't look and act like the one from the TV. Aren't they the same person?
Don't we
Yeah.
like
They're gonna
the
be
guy on
confused.
TV? We've had longer to get to know him.
Yeah, they're going to be confused because they're going to think they are the same person.
Maybe Superman's taking the photo.
Yeah, he's like, okay, everybody, down, click.
Well,
Oh, I
see,
gotta take it again. Batman was blinking.
that's just some of the issues that plague this movie. Like, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, man, but I feel like Batman versus Superman just torpedoed the DC cinematic universe. Like,
It's leading in the Razzie nominations right now.
dude,
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But no, I mean, well, you got to
Yes,
think about
it
it.
is.
Like in that movie, they half-assed the origin of Batman. They introduced Doomsday. You met Wonder Woman, and Superman died. They literally combined 5 movies into one. And
some injustice in there.
yeah,
too.
and then just sent it out. They were like, by the way, the future may be bleak, and there's some guy named Darkseid, and it's like, man, like I look back, and it's just like, it feels like they were like, hey guys, we need to make, so this just needs to be like really big and really gaudy and really flashy and super spectacular. Who cares about what's in it? Throw it out there, we'll make it, and then worry about it later. And then, like, the movie came out, and then they were like, well, now let's do Justice League. It's like, no. Because no one knows about the characters in the Justice League, which means now, not only do you have to do whatever it is Justice League does, but you've got to learn about all the characters as it's going on. And I feel like what happened is somebody, whether it was Zack, Snyder, whoever it was, sat down and said, well, how do we do a Justice League movie? Well, what did they do in the New 52? Well, in the first 6 issues, they covered the whole Justice League, so let's do that. No. You had Batman Year One. Mm-hmm. You had Action Comics and Superman. You had Wonder Woman. You had all these comics that went and fleshed out their origin stories on the side. Justice League was just them meeting for the first time, and so it was like, man, and yeah, these are legacy characters. Yeah, their origins are timeless, but let's be honest. Who doesn't want to see Superman being jettisoned away from an exploding planet? Who doesn't want to see Thomas and Martha Wayne get shot? Who doesn't want to see Aquaman's dad saying, hey, your mom was some chick from the ocean that I banged, and then you were here, and now she's gone, and you got to go figure out what's going on with her? Who doesn't want to see those stories? Because they're people like origin stories. Not only that, movies provide a more tangible experience for origin stories. You flip over, you go through a comic, and it's like, well, there goes Superman. He's being whisked away, and yep, there he is. He's found by Jonathan and Martha Kent. Well, that's cool. But when you're in the movie, it's tangible. Like, you feel it, you see it, you hear it. It impacts all the 5 senses. Like, it's a divergent experience, And so because, well, I don't know if divergent is the right word. What's the word when
I
it's?
didn't like that movie.
No. What's the word? Like, Sal, you have an anesthetic experience, and then you have what's the other one where all your senses are fully engaged?
Mimetic?
No. Anyway, you have like an all-encompassing, like an immersive experience.
Immersive,
You have an immersive experience because you're part of the movie. You're there as you're following that journey, and people like that. The issue is now, like they're gonna. It feels like they didn't learn from the first mistake, and they're making the same mistake again. And it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
Let us not forget too. You better like these characters in the Justice League movie, the new one, because if people don't like them and don't, resonate with them, then they're not going to go see their solo movies because they're like, I already saw them in the Justice League and I didn't like them.
yeah, like, who's gonna go see the Cyborg movie if Cyborg sucks?
Well, but see, that's a kicker. That's why, to me, it's so irritating, because DC Rebirth has turned me on to DC Comics in a way that I never thought I would. 15 years ago, you never could have paid me to read a DC comic. I was like, Superman? I don't care about Superman. How can you make a compelling story about a guy that can't get hurt unless somebody runs up on him with kryptonite? You know, I mean, I never would have read a Superman story, but I'm sitting down and I'm reading DC Rebirth, and it's just like, wow. You know, it's just like, damn, is this what I've been missing? Like, is this what I've been missing out on?
You feel the legacy. You feel the history.
Exactly. And these are DC characters. It's not Captain America. It's not Iron Man. It's not Thor, the Incredible Hulk, or any of that stuff. Those characters from Marvel are cool, but they were not the foundation by which all other superheroes were built. DC was. Like Aquaman.
They're not Americana.
Well, not really Aquaman. Like Namor came before Aquaman, but no, I mean like Superman. Yes. Superman is the archetype for the superhero with a cape and boots and a costume and incredible abilities. Batman is the archetype for the vigilante, like the Punisher, the anti-hero. You know, I mean, you have all Wonder Woman is the quintessential first lady of female superheroes. Everybody was based on her. Yeah, no matter what the UN says, like they were all based on that, and because of that. When you sit down and you look at Superman, and it's like a movie about Superman, you're not making a movie about some guy who was sent from a dying planet and was raised by people. You're making a movie about Superman. When you're making a movie about Batman, you're not making a movie about some kid whose parents got shot. He inherited $1 billion, wants to dress up as a bat and fight crime in the middle of the night. You're making a movie about Batman. Yes. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern. The list goes on and on and on and on. And so it's not just any superhero. It's not just, hey, let's make a movie about this and see what happens. You're making a movie about legacy heroes, some of whom have been around damn near 75 years. So it's like, you gotta, I think that in a lot of ways, maybe it's Warner Brothers' nature, maybe it's all coming from a corporate standpoint, but it's not recognizing the intrinsic value of the characters that they have. When people sit down and they say, here are the best, here's like the 5 best superhero movies of all time, I'm a Marvel fanboy to the end, but that list of 5 better be DC, because you expect it to be. There's no reason for it not to be. So,
well, and it was. I remember the best superhero movies of all time up until 2006 or whatever were Batman 1989 and Superman. And then after that it was The Dark Knight. Yeah. It was DC superheroes. When DC was defining what a superhero movie could be, Marvel was struggling in the dark, naked and afraid, making Captain America starring J.D. Salinger's son and Spider-Man 1970s live-action TV show garbage. And by the way, I watched them and ate them up like a fucking rat as a child because I wanted live-action Marvel, but they just couldn't get their shit together. Yeah. And DC's like, look at us! Literally, DC had it right in the 80s.
I know.
70s, where it was the poster for Superman was the goddamn logo. Yeah. The poster for Batman didn't even say the word bat.
Because they knew.
The logo, bigger than the poster was. It was too big for the poster, because you're just like, we're making it. And you're like, ah! That blew my mind. When it was when they were making Batman versus Superman, and it was I'm like, this movie's going to make $1 billion. No question, because we've all wanted to see that. And these two characters are going to own. And not only did they not own, but it didn't make $1 billion.
No.
In an age where $1 billion is sexy and awesome for Hollywood, and it should be a guarantee, a single Batman movie can make $1 billion. So it stands to reason if you put Batman and Superman in one movie, it's going to be amazing. Nope. So, but I have hope for Justice League, but I think they learned their lesson a little too late, because as I understand it, they were like, we got to switch things. Batman vs Superman is not what they want. We got to change this up. But they're like, but we're still gonna make everyone David S. Goyer still gets a job. Zack Snyder still got a job. Everybody who still made all the bad decisions.
These cynical people will make a hopeful movie. We know they will.
Yeah, no question they're gonna do that.
No, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hang on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The problem is none of the people in charge of these movies are looking to tell a story.
No.
They're just trying to make something that people will like.
Well, they're just trying to make $1 billion.
Yeah, that's
and to ensure the next sequel, because we want to make more money off this on the next one.
And the biggest issue you're running into with that is exactly what Rob was talking about, how these are the archetype characters. You can't take the archetype characters and then not give us a real story with actual character development and character moments and real interactions, because we know these characters. And even people who you don't think know these characters know these characters. So they're going to expect certain things. And when you don't deliver on that because it looked cool or it seemed cool or you thought it would make a lot of money, people are going to backlash. And then you can't backpedal.
Well, that's
you
why...
either have to stick to your guns and keep going forward, because the more you change, the worse of a knot you're going to make, and you can't undo this.
Well, that's the problem, is that every DC movie has tried to repair the damage the last DC movie made, which is not how you build a franchise and not how you tell a story. I mean, like, the other problem is, like, when it comes to an action sequence, you know, like, you can make the best looking action sequence of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you don't care about who's in it, then it's totally hollow. It's totally meaningless. Like, why is John Wick so awesome? Because you care about that poor dog and how awesome John Wick is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the action sequences are awesome. Like, if it's just like Rando and he's awesome and cool and he does really cool things, like, you might please like a couple people who are fans of Dragon Ball Z, but otherwise you're not going to sell, like, you're not going to be able to pin a $1 billion franchise on it.
Well,
You know, oh no, go ahead, go.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Like if I were running the show at DC, like, here's what I would have done. Like, origin stories across the board. Like, all the movies are origins. Like you look to the future and you say, who's going to be in the Justice League?
Green Lantern to kick it off. Green Lantern was supposed to be the start.
But see, here's the beauty of superheroes. Here's the beauty of superhero movies. Blood Red King, sploosh.
Hey.
I didn't miss you. No, here's the beauty. Here's the beauty of superhero movies. It's never too late. Like, right now, we're in the middle of a superhero craze, and all people want are good stories. Word of mouth is a powerful thing. The Office, no one cared about season 1 of The Office because it was an iTunes release. It was released on iTunes before it went to TV. Nobody cared about it. But then word of mouth picked it up, and it became one of the most successful TV shows in the history of television. So, I mean, word of mouth changes everything. Like, I would literally, like, I would look around, and I would be like, okay, look, guys, here's what you've done so far. You've done Man of Steel. People didn't like it. It did well, sure. But the problem is diminishing returns. If people didn't like Man of Steel, then those people may not go see Batman vs. Superman. If they do, they may not like Batman vs. Superman, which means those people won't go see Justice League. So you get this diminishing return, this snowball effect, where eventually you have movies where you're investing $200 million in it and you're making $250 million instead of $500,000, which that's a good profit, but the fact remains here, I would go and I would say, look, guys, here's what we need to do. Like, follow the legacy of the characters. Like, origin stories for the people that we know are going to be in Justice League. 6 people, 6 movies, all right, origin stories. Then what you do is you bring in Batman and Superman and you make a movie called Batman Superman World's Finest. That's what you do. And then you just have Batman and Superman working together. And then, you know, in the movie, they come across a scenario where they get out by the skin of their teeth. And they say, you know what, like, we can't save the world alone. We need a team. Enter the Justice League.
Hard.
Like,
You want Avengers money now.
You got to play the long game when it comes to stuff like that. Because that's how you don't... you don't build a franchise by just cranking stuff out right now and then that's it. You build a franchise by giving people a reason to come back. That's how you make it work. But I don't know.
Let me say just real quick. I think that Zack Snyder tricked everybody.
Yes.
And hang on. Okay, say what you will about 300 and Watchmen.
Which I did.
Say what you will. Like them, don't like them, whatever, right? I like 300. I think it's over the top. I think it's ridiculous. I think it has incredible action. I think it's exactly what Snyder wanted to do. And the story comes through, and there's character development, but it's not because he made it happen. It's because it was right there in the book. It was right in front of him. He couldn't help but stumble over character development and an actual plot because he had a book that was like this thick. He's like, okay, that's where it is.
Yeah.
Cut to Watchmen. The book's a little bit bigger, but it's a single book, and it's like it's a tome. It's a Bible about this universe, right? He can't help himself but have character moments between, you know,
the
like,
main characters.
yeah, they're going to say the right things. They're going to have the correct reactions because any actor worth their salt will go to that source material because they know this is the book we're doing. Okay, I'm going to go through this. Got it. I totally get it. Regardless of what happens with Snyder, there you go. He can't help himself. He puts out a movie that actually has some development, right?
Yeah.
Cut to Man of Steel. Cut to Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He has how many years? Decades upon decades of content.
Yeah, well, he has, like half centuries of
right?
content
of
to
content.
draw from.
And now he has to tell his own story.
Yes. Well, he doesn't have to do that.
But he thinks he does, you know.
Well,
because...
no, I think it's because he liked 300 because Leonidas is awesome, yo.
Yeah.
And Watchmen is super cool because the blue guy's dick is out and he fucks the world.
But what I'm
like
all the time, bro.
But then, like, and literally, he didn't have to think. He could just go like, well, fucking Alan Moore tells me what to do, and I don't know who that is, but I think he's cool, and everyone tells me he's awesome, so I'll just do that. But he hates Superman, and he doesn't want to do a Superman story, but he wants the excuse to tell an awesome Batman story, because that awesome guy who did the 300 book, he did my favorite Batman story, where Batman kicked ass and killed people, even though he didn't. And then, because like Zack Snyder has a fundamental misunderstanding of like why superheroes work. How they work and what people like about them, and so as such, his like that he's also his problem is he has a Hollywood mentality about superhero stories in general, which is like, don't take what's already written. Those guys write comic books. We got to do our own story. The Joker killed Batman's parents, and like crystals and stuff. Like they just make up their own shit. Sometimes it works, like it did in the Superman movie, and sometimes it doesn't, like in the Daredevil movie.
Right. Well, I was gonna say that like when it comes to Snyder, you look at like it seems obvious. Like he pulls from Dark Knight. Everyone's like, okay, he's pulling from source material again. How could he go wrong? Except that source material builds off of an established relationship that's forever. You know what I mean?
Like, pull without rhyme or reason and just put it in a stew and be like, it'll be fine when we mix it together.
And then the studio probably comes to him and says, you have to put Wonder Woman in this.
Yeah.
And now he's like,
what? But I don't care about Wonder Woman.
Well, is there a story in which
she does anything? Or
yeah, you know what I mean?
The three of them do something cool?
That's pretty much what I want to tell here. And they're like, not really.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, then I'll just try to make it work. And I think that is what happened. Like, the studio believed, based on these other two movies, that the man could tell a competent superhero story that had character development and action and was going to work. And then they gave him the keys to the kingdom, and he was like, "But I don't know. But I don't know what to do."
Yeah, but it's
and
not
the
all
Emperor has no clothes.
Well, but Wonder Woman isn't in Dark Knight Returns.
Right. Exactly. So let's say instead you just grabbed if you gave him an Image trade.
Yeah.
A trade that was like beginning, middle, and end.
Right. Like he could probably make a Witches movie that looks really cool.
There you go. Absolutely give him Witches, right? Like
it would be it's too small and intimate, but like
it
is a beginning, middle, and end, and it has all the dialogue written already.
Exactly. And would it be the best version of Witches? Probably not, but it would be better than Batman v Superman.
Give him Savage Dragon. He seems like he'd really enjoy making a
Savage Dragon's just sprawling. There's too many years of Savage Dragon stuff. You got to pick a definitive Savage Dragon story, and there really isn't one.
Okay. So this all started with a picture of the Justice League. So I think we need to reel it back in.
We gotta look at the Justice League for the first time all together in high def, and you know what? Like even like say what you will about the DCEU, which I hate that term. I just wish it was called the DC Cinematic Universe.
Too many letters.
Not too hard to say DCCU, but whatever. But you know what's cool? Seeing everyone shoulder to shoulder and like in high def. It's kind of cool.
It was a 4K image. It looked good as hell too.
It sure did.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And that's something that Zack Snyder delivers on is things looking kind of awesome.
He likes images. He's a visual director.
Zack Snyder gave us one of the best looking Batman costumes on film.
Yeah.
That Batman costume did look stellar.
Yeah. It looks like Jim Lee like drew it, and then like I don't know, Gabriel Byrne from Cool World pulled it through the comic book world and into the real world.
Wow, a Cool World pull. I was not expecting that when I woke up this morning.
No.
Good job, sir.
Cool World, man.
And I know, by the way, that I know this is our last bit of news, but everyone in the chat has been talking about one other thing, which I thought was really funny because we just talked about this.
Yes, in our episode of Backish is Wonder Woman Blood.
Yeah, that Ares, they're saying he's confirmed for
Wonder Woman the movie.
The Wonder Woman movie?
Oh, he's going to be the villain?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. We were joking about that because they were talking, like, the guys were like, do you think, what elements from Wonder Woman Blood do you think would be in there? Like, the only thing they could pull is Ares, and then they described Al Pacino.
As Ares being like,
this
is an absentee landlord!
Worship that? Never!
I love the smell of mustard gas in the morning!
The only reason I wanted to bring it up was just because of the concept of Al Pacino.
Wow.
I want Al Pacino as Ares for all the schlock, terrible bullshit that would be. Oh, Diana!
Man. War is a game of inches.
The Joker and Lex Luthor that we've already seen.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
It'd be more fun.
Man, they need to bring back Kevin Spacey is what they need to do. They need to stop him hauling around.
Yeah.
I mean, as Calendar Man and or the Riddler?
No, they need to bring it back as Lex
No,
Luthor.
I'm saying for that. I'm changing it.
Oh.
That's what I want.
Make him Calendar Man?
Kevin Spacey and Calendar Man would be freaking amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
But, all right, last bit of news, which is...
Ben Reilly will be returning as the Scarlet
Yeah,
Spider in a brand new book by Peter David. Well, that pretty much tells us how Clone Conspiracy ends, doesn't
thanks
it?
for spoiling Clone Conspiracy, everyone.
Can I
You're
just say...
bad at this, Marvel, at spoiling your stories before they actually finish.
I think they really think they're clever.
Yeah, they really do.
I think they really think that. But can I just say that Bagley drawing...
It's
not good,
horrible.
and I'm so glad I didn't see that before I gave him a bunch of money.
I mean, I don't think I'd go and read a Spider-Man book about Ben Reilly.
Not you. There is a huge number of people who will.
Yeah.
My problem is, and we talked about this before in previous episodes, like, I was already complaining about there being enough Spider people. We've got Peter. We've got Miles. We've got Miguel O'Hara. We've got Aranya. We've got Julia Carpenter. We've got Silk. We've got Mayday Parker still alive. We got Annie Mae and Mary Jane and an alternate Peter Parker. We have Ben Reilly now. We have Kane. We have Spider-Gwen. Like, those are 12 Spider characters, and I haven't even finished talking about symbiotes yet. So,
And then you got Spider-Ham and all the multiversal
and
ones
the
from Web Warriors.
So you've got, like, over a dozen Spider characters already before you get to Ben Reilly, yet another Spider-Man.
When is Ben Reilly
What will
coming
he do
out?
differently?
I don't know. Well, probably immediately following Clone Conspiracy's conclusion. So
Oh,
I guess
okay.
March.
By the way, if they called it that, I would definitely buy it then.
What? Yet
Ben
another
Reilly,
Spider-Man?
yet another Spider-Man.
That'd be hilarious.
Like,
I mean,
they're
like-
like, we
Not
get
another
it.
Spider-Man?
And what's funny is, did you see Peter David talking about it? Because Peter David has zero fucks to give, and he was like, he goes, he hates trades, and he's like, if you want this book to survive, you have to buy it month to month. You have to buy it month to month. If you don't buy it, the book will be canceled.
No,
I was
well,
like,
if
way
it...
to be honest.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean...
that to me sounds like he came to them and was like, I want to tell this story.
No, I think they came to him because he's a '90s writer, and Ben Reilly is a '90s creation.
All
Yes,
right.
and you got Spider-Man coming out in July. So, like, I imagine that's
I
a
would've-
huge reason why.
Personally, I would have much rathered and would have been much more interested if Ben Reilly kept the Jackal persona and cool Jackal costume and
they're
you sell
saying.
it as the Amazing Jackal.
Oh, they're saying that he is going to be trying to balance his life as the Scarlet Spider and the Jackal.
So he's
Which
gonna
is
do
like,
both.
wow! I was originally not interested, but now I'm really not interested.
That's
Wow.
But what's going on with the tarantula?
But what is happening with the tarantula, right? He needs to be stunning people with his 12-inch bladed shoes.
Yeah,
He, I
stunning.
think he got killed in something. He was working as muscle for like the Colombian cartel, and he got killed by like the
The
Thunderbolts. or
tarantula
something.
died twice. He once
sure?
he turned into a giant tarantula and then died, and the other time he was like just murdered.
Are you sure he wasn't just molting?
Yeah, he could. I mean, like he could have been just molting, or maybe it's
God, he's got a sweet costume though.
Yeah,
He's just
tarantula's
molting.
costume. I remember as a kid seeing the tarantula through like a trading card and being like, wow, because back then there weren't a lot of spider characters. So I was like, whoa, a spider character, and he's a bad guy. That costume looks freaking awesome. And then I looked him up,
God.
like he totally sucks.
I hate to admit this right here, right now, for everyone. The first Spider-Man comic I ever bought from like the local drugstore back when they sold these was the first issue with the black tarantula, and I picked it up because I'm like, this dude's awesome. Like, I'm sure
Oh,
you know the
Black
cover.
Totally
Oh, yeah.
different tarantula.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
was there a difference? Is there a difference?
Yes. No, the tarantula is a bad guy and like a luchador, and the black tarantula is like a good guy. Kind of.
I gotta look this up.
No, I think it was true. It was the bad guy one. I know because he fought Spider-Man in the issue.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
the dude in the black with the silver and
No,
all
he's
the others.
he's red with a black logo. His logo stretches down his entire body.
Oh shit!
Black
Now I'm
tarantula.
Oh,
is
God.
Like, a hero character.
He looks like Batroc the Leaper.
Yes, he does. He's the Spider-Man Patrick.
Okay, then I'm confused.
Wow.
Yeah,
So there's
except
two
the
tarantulas?
There's two tarantulas. Well, one's black tarantula, but neither one are black. But no, the original tarantula, who is like a joke, he has these shoes that have big long spikes on them. And in one book, specifically the Clone Genesis, like the original Clone Saga, he builds his trademark shoes in prison, and then he's like, "Aha! I shall stun the guard," and then just stabs him in the heart with his foot, and it makes a "fuck" sound. And it's like, you didn't stun him. Those shoes are 12. Those blades are 12 inches long. You stabbed him in the heart. You didn't stun anybody. It was like that friggin' College Humor sketch where Batman's like, "I'm gonna knock out all my enemies." He just murders them. And they're like, he's like, "No, I put them to sleep. They're asleep."
Yeah.
Like, no, Batman, you killed all those people.
Yeah.
How does Tarantula walk in 6-inch blades? I know it's hard enough for most women to walk in heels. How does it work?
Well, they're coming out. They're coming out the front of the shoe, so it's like a clown.
Oh, okay. That also seems hard to run in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you gotta stun your enemy.
God, he looks like a terrible character.
He sucks.
Right.
But yeah, Ben Reilly. It's
back.
funny. It's funny with Ben Reilly. They're doing what they're doing with the Captain Americas and everything. It's Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. They're sure to put his name in it. Does that lead us to believe there might also be a Scarlet Spider Kane as well? Because it's funny. I can tell you, even in my own audience, a lot of people really love that short-lived Kane Scarlet Spider in Texas book. He has a lot of fans, and they're really let down by this. They were hoping for a new Kane book.
Yeah, well, Kane, as it turns out, Kane didn't die, and he might be cured of his bullshit and whatever. But like, Kane, the Scarlet Spider book with Kane was actually, it came from an organic place. It came from a real place, like that birthed from Spider Island. That was a cool idea. This is like, I don't know what this is, but
Nostalgia.
They brought back Ben Reilly, and they're like, yeah, Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider. It could be that like there's going to be another Scarlet Spider. They'll have two competing Scarlet Spiders. I tell you, if he's going to be a Spider-Man character, this could have been a great opportunity to launch a Superior Spider-Man series.
Dude, I don't think Dan Slott's going to redo Superior Spider-Man. If he did, it'd be the most pathetic attempt at a cash grab I've ever seen. Plus, like Superior Spider-Man, he caught lightning in a bottle with Superior Spider-Man. You can't do that again. I mean, that's a
so
one-off
the point
idea.
We keep seeing it, like Infamous Iron Man is basically just a Superior Iron Man, which they did do Superior Iron Man.
Which they did that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say the saddest part of the debut of Ben Reilly new Scarlet Spider is.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, Sal. Somebody said don't ever mention Superior Spider-Man. What? Superior Spider-Man was amazing.
What was the problem with that? You knew it was going to end.
So many people, including myself, back into reading Spider-Man.
Dude, Superior Spider-Man was amazing. I think I'm going to do the Superior Spider-Man run when Spider-Man comes out. I think I might do that.
Yeah,
like the Superior Spider-Man run.
But they ripped off Spider-Gwen's hoodie.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? It doesn't look good.
Now he had a hoodie back in the day.
Well, they're like, no, because like Ben Reilly's the OG hoodie-wearing Spider character. Remember when he had the hoodie? He never popped the hoodie.
Yeah.
Does he look even stupider than he did in 1990? Goddamn 6.
But he lost the sleeveless look. He understood, man, what was I thinking back then with the Jerry curl and the sleeveless hoodie? Nah.
People love that outfit.
They do.
They did like they either want the original like Ben Reilly Spider-Man suit, which was a solid redesigned costume, or the original Scarlet Spider costume with the hoodie and the sleevelessness and the ankle pouches. Like this new outfit is just like, who cares what this is? Like what is this?
Will he go back to being a blonde? Because in Clone Conspiracy we found out, I was dyeing my hair, so when I let it go,
we knew he was dyeing his hair back in the 90s too.
Yeah, so I just when I let it go, I just looked like you, Peter. So there you go.
Well, also keep in mind, Ben Reilly fought the Joker.
Oh, was that the thing in the crossover?
That was Ben Reilly. Yeah, that fought him. Yeah, that was why in I don't remember if it was Marvel vs. DC or JLA Avengers when Peter Parker met the Joker's like, yeah, it's the last time we met, and Peter Parker's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
No, Peter Parker meets Joker in Spider-Man Batman. And then in DC versus Marvel, Ben Reilly is Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
And he meets Joker, and he's like, I've never met you, you crazy person. And that's why he lets the Joker go. Because in Spider-Man Batman, Spider-Man catches the Joker and almost kills him because of what a monster he is. I'm like, it's
Hold on, Spider-Man almost killed the Joker?
Yeah, at the end of that book, you're worse than Carnage. Like, you're the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Dude.
Like, the only way to stop you is to kill you. And Joker's
just gave
like,
Rob an idea.
Totally kill
Yeah.
him.
Well, I was
that's a fucking video right there.
I was going to do the first Marvel DC crossover when Superman met Spider-Man. I was going to do that when the Spider-Man movie comes out. But I guess I'll do that one, like how Spider-Man almost kills the Joker.
That's it, because like that's Spider-Man Batman. There's two Spider-Man Batman crossovers. They're both by DeMatteis, and they're both great.
Yeah.
I like
in one of them
in terms of titles.
Yeah, it's literally it's Joker and Carnage team up to fight Batman and Spider-Man, and then the next one it's Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul team up to fight this one.
Wow.
And both of them are great. Like, and yeah, I love them. I love them so much that Tiffany commissioned a Mark Bagley rematch of Spider-Man and Batman teaming up, and it looks freaking awesome. And in fact, you know what? Let's take a quick second and tell the story, not the whole story about how that happened, but so you weren't sure if you were going to get it because you reached out to his agent to do it.
I did. Here's the funny thing. I'm going to try the short version of this. Reach out to the agent, got a little information, sent back a long email about what I was looking for, never heard anything again for over a week. Emailed them back and was like, did you need anything out? Like, trying to be really cool about it, like, trying to be really friendly. Like, hey, I just wanted to make sure, was there anything I had to do? Like, I wasn't really sure, right? And he's like, no, we were at a convention, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And he's like, I'm not even sure if I'll have time to do it. I don't hear from him for another week and a half to 2 weeks. And I'm like, well,
that didn't happen.
That's it. Okay. It's over, right? Cool, whatever. So I order something else, cool, whatever. That night, I get an email that just says, Tiffany, urgent.
That would actually terrify the hell out of me.
Right? Tiffany, urgent. You okay?
We need your credit card number.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and a phone number, and just says, like, call me when you're alone. I'm like, all right. Because he didn't want to give anything away. And I'm like, cool. So I give him a call, and I'm like, hello? And he knows exactly who it is. And he's just like, hey, so, as it turns out, you know, like, I got a little bit of a surprise for you. And I'm like, cool. I assume that at this point, like, Bagley's going to say, yeah, I can do the commission. But it's like the 21st, and I wanted to give it to Sal for Christmas, so I was like, I guess we'll do. I don't want to turn him down now, but like,
yeah.
So he's like, are you alone? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, can your phone take images? And I'm like, what? Who is this? No. He's like, okay, hang on, I'm gonna send you something. And I'm like, all right. And I get this email, and in the email is this. Just this picture. Just there it is. And I'm like, So literally went from the last thing I heard was, I don't even know if he's gonna have time to do it, to here it is.
He already did.
I'm like, but I thought I was gonna see like thumbnails. Is that So he's like, it's all done. And I'm like, how? And he's like, well, you see, he was waiting for a script and it got delayed by a day. They couldn't send it over to him that day, so he just sat down in front of the TV and he just did the whole thing in one day. And here it is. And they wanted to know if they could overnight it to me, and that was it, right? And then I'm like, cool, whatever, get it. It's awesome, great, whatever, Christmas, yay, cool. He shows me this stupid new book that's coming out, and I'm like, that's the script.
Yeah, the script that was delayed was the Scarlet Spider.
That has to be it, right? Like, that's the script that he was waiting on, and instead he drew Batman and Spider-Man for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And the image is freaking cool, and it's pencils, and the what's also cool is he drew OG Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do this bullshit.
Trunks on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Trunks on the outside. But it's like, because Bagley spent so much time drawing that Trinity book, you know,
yeah.
It was a weekly book, so he had to rush the Batmans. Like, he took time, drew an awesome looking Batman, and his Spider-Man is adult Spider-Man, but because he'd been drawing Ultimate for so long, like, he'd refined the style. His Spider-Man, if he takes time to draw Spider-Man, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah. So apparently he just sat down in front of the TV, didn't work on the script.
Didn't work on Scarlet Spider.
Because it didn't show up, and instead he drew that.
Yeah.
I wonder what does Bagley binge watch when he's not drawing Scarlet?
Right?
he watches Westworld. That's what I'm willing to bet. I was watching Westworld and just decided to draw this.
I was catching up on the Real Housewives, and I thought, oh, no, that's a good time to draw this.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Spider-Man Batman's a great crossover.
Yeah, it's a great crossover.
It's so great that I wanted to see. It's funny because, like, there's so many people who want to see so many amazing crossovers that you'll never see. You know, like, you're never going to see a Doctor Strange Constantine team up, but, like...
Green Arrow Iron Fist.
Or Green Arrow Iron, or you know, whatever, but, like, you know, for me, I'm like, oh, we're never going to see another Spider-Man Batman crossover, although I did get 2 of them. So I guess I should probably just shut up and enjoy the 2 books I
count your blessings.
Because Ben Reilly isn't in either of them.
No,
yeah.
that's true.
Okay, so do we have one more topic, or is that the last one? Oh, that's the last one?
There's one more at the very, very bottom that I just added later, but all new Guardians of the Galaxy book coming from Jerry Conway. It's a back to basics Guardians of the Galaxy book, just in time for the new movie.
Okay.
Man, I trust Jerry Conway.
Well, too bad they couldn't get Dan Abnett to come back and do it, because Dan Abnett writes a damn good Guardians, but he's busy over at DC Rebirth, blowing the doors off the fucking hinges.
Dude, for those
wait, did I say Conway? Sorry, Duggan. My brain auto.
Jerry Duggan. Okay,
but Duggan's really great too.
Yeah, he's fine. I was more excited about Jerry Conway.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
For those of you guys out there in Twitch land who don't know, I'm pretty sure it was Dan Abnett was the guy who basically reinvented the Marvel cosmology, following Annihilation. Was like, hey, let's show people that there's more to the Marvel cosmology than Quasar.
Let's kill Quasar.
Yeah.
Replace it with Phyla-Vell and make it awesome.
Dude, I loved Phyla-Vell. Dude, that whole thing with Phyla-Vell and Moondragon, that was one of the coolest relationships that they had for a while.
Yes.
And then they killed off. No, I'm sorry, they killed off Genus-Vell. Genus-Vell was their brother, and then then they killed him off. Yeah, no, that was a really cool moment in Annihilation when they're at the gravestones. Yeah. For Mar-Vell and Genus-Vell, and then Thanos shows up and just kidnaps them, or kidnaps Moondragon. That was kind of. I mean, it's not funny, but it was kind of funny.
No, but it's cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
It's a great series.
But yeah,
the big thing here we can see on the poster for the new Guardians series is that Groot is Baby Groot again because of the new movie.
He's so funny and great.
Yeah.
He also can't grow back to full size, and Duggan says that's going to be the thrust of the new story, trying to get him back.
That.
Oh, well, this is what he's saying. Also, Drax has taken a pacifist turn now. He's put down his daggers, and he's trying to be one with the universe, Drax. That won't last long.
That Old Man Logan thing worked out so well, I guess we might as well just do it again.
It would be amazing if that lasted for 5 pages.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a pacifist. But, you know what, fuck this. And he just started.
Yeah. So is Mantis going to be in it, and will she be flesh-toned?
Shockingly, no Mantis, but they have shrunk it back to the original lineup, which is kind of sad, because I guess that means no more Ben Grimm and no more Kitty Pryde or anything. I guess they're off wherever now.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, she's not going to be Star-Lord anymore? That's too bad. Everyone loved that.
Oh, no, wait, this makes sense, because Kitty Pryde needs to go back and lead X-Men Gold now, and Ben Grimm is an infamous Iron Man, so that's where they went.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
About,
Marvel.
Yeah, when you get back up.
Marvel, can you just bring back the Fantastic Four? Hell's bells. You got Johnny Storm hanging out with Medusa. You got Ben Grimm just floating from one comic to the next.
It's kind of cool in as much as they are driftless. They have they're just where's my family?
Dude, they're literally characters with no home.
Just hitchhiking.
Yeah, they're just like, dude, they're taking up squatters' rights in the Marvel universe. It's
totally
just like
Dan Slott wrote that great Spider-Man Human Torch crossover. Why the hell isn't Dan Slott just making Johnny from a regular cast member in the Spider-Man book?
Dude, Dan Slott's writing Silver Surfer. He's actually doing a pretty good job with Silver Surfer. Just throw him in that. The problem is nobody cares about all different Silver Surfer.
Here's what's funny: the longer they wait, the harder it's going to be. Because could you imagine being the person who's going to be like, I'm going to tell the first new Fantastic Four story in years?
Oh, it'll just be Bendis.
I know. I'm sure it will be, and he won't care. But if they're smart, it won't be.
Yeah.
Smart, Hickman maybe.
Yeah, they need to bring Hickman back. They need to be like, Hickman, we will pay you an exorbitant sum of money to just do this, and all you have to do is just write a year's worth of stories, and you never have to write for us again.
Do it. I mean, money, but I can imagine Hickman being like, no, I set you up for. I wrote a 6-year-long story that culminated in one of your best sales years of all time.
Well, hang on. What they'll do then is they'll go, we couldn't tell a story about them without you.
No, that's not.
No, dude.
Just totally honey.
No, dude. I guarantee Hickman was sitting at the editor's table when they were like, so what do we do after Secret Wars? He's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I pretty much have Reed and everybody throwing galaxies or throwing universes out into the void of the multiverse. Maybe you can just reboot. No, we're not going to do that. Because if I were Hickman, I'd be pissed. If after all that work, they turned around and just threw it away, I'd be like, you know what? I'm never writing for you again. Don't ever come to me and ask me to write anything again. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to DC and I'm going to write JSA. Hickman, please write JSA.
He's not going to do it.
For the love of God. Please write
JSA. From Brian Hitch. Save Justice League from Brian Hitch. What are you doing?
Dude, wouldn't that be hilarious if that was the case? DC's just like, we're just going to give Justice League to somebody until Hickman can finally start writing it. So they just gave it to Brian Hitch, and then Hickman's going to take over and make it Jesus.
Let Joshua Williamson write League. He's already doing a better job with the League and League versus Squad than the actual writers of either of those books have done.
Yeah.
See, Hickman, I get the idea of him being pissed off about what they've done, but I also get that he could feel a sense of pride and ownership and a desire to take them, bring them back. You know what I mean? I could easily see that too, where he's just like, all right.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I'll bring the Fantastic Four back, and it'll be freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
With a vengeance, I'll bring them back.
Right. And I mean, I know he is over.
He's working at he worked on Westworld. For
God's
sake. No, that was Brubaker. I don't remember.
But I'm just saying, give him a year, give him a couple. I mean, it's been over a year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He could, at this,
Yeah, it's been long enough. He can come back. Yeah. I mean, we need regime changes at Marvel, and we need Marvel to get their shit together.
That's what happened.
Then we can have
Hickman will come back and he'll just run Marvel.
Yeah, Ed Brubaker's writing Westworld. Ed Brubaker is one of the writers where you could just be like, Ed Brubaker's Captain America. They're like, he's the guy that wrote Westworld, right? Dude, I gotta watch this video. I gotta watch this.
You were talking about regime change there at Marvel, Sal. Might be coming sooner than we expect, because at least one of the big muckety-mucks might be taking a job in politics now.
Man, dude, that news drop.
Let's not mention these names.
Let's not mention the
names.
Yeah.
Like Voldemort, he who shall not be named.
If and when they leave, then we can talk about it.
Yep.
Man.
But even then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Too powerful.
I'm just saying, when your company's bought by Disney and you continue calling the shots, kind of says something about the kind of clout that you hold. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
So nobody puts Bendis in a corner. Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Imagine Hickman and Johns both writing for DC. Well, thanks a lot for coming, Marvel. You can collect your prizes at the door. Jesus.
Hey, I like Hickman, but I really don't want a Justice League story that's like, hey, this will make sense in 2 years when it all comes together.
Dude, I do.
I do. They wrote the Shazam family.
Oh.
Yeah. Or have him write New Gods or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, something self-contained would be a whole lot better than something that ties into the existing continuity.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just something where he could just go crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Give me a Hickman Superman Elseworlds story. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to bring back that Elseworlds line. Just be like, what major writers would just take this and have fun?
Dude, I'm surprised they didn't do that with Rebirth, because they did that with Batman back in the day post-Crisis, where it was like Tales of the Dark Knight, where it was just people who were up and coming were just writing one-shots. I'm surprised they're not doing that. I kind of figured they would.
Well, they have the new talent showcase. I don't know if anyone read that.
That is not a thing. That is a previews magazine. That is not goddamn Elseworlds
book.
But
it is nice that they do it. But how about a Hickman Elseworlds Dr. Fate?
I mean, that would be awesome, but it would also be unsellable.
Would it?
It would buy. You're only selling it to Hickman fans. You're not selling on the strength of Dr. Fate.
No, but say he
by the helmet of Naboo.
You know what it is? I would give him whatever he felt he had a story for.
Oh yeah, no, I would just be like,
what do you got a story for?
If I were Johns, I'd be like, Hickman, whatever you want, you knock on my door.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Hickman trolling everyone when he left Marvel? He's like, well, not working here anymore. Here's a bunch of files for stories I'll never get to tell. The rise and fall of the Skrull Empire, the rise and fall of the Kree Empire. And he had a bunch of joke titles and also some real ones.
Dude, I was kind of hoping a lot of those were real, because those sounded like they would have been amazing stories. Yep. Just amazing self-contained. And it could have just been but see, here's a problem, though. I don't know if you remember this, Sal. But Hickman and somebody else were writing S.H.I.E.L.D. And they had S.H.I.E.L.D. Volume 2. It's supposed to be 6 issues long, and it's been 6 or 7 years, and they still haven't released the last 2.
And he won't do it. He's like, no. He keeps teasing about it, but no. That book, you'll never get that book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which kind of sucks, because it was weird, but it was kind of cool at the same time.
Yes.
It was out
you'll
in left
get
field.
that around the same time Daredevil Bullseye Target #2 comes out.
All-Star Batman and Robin.
The Boy Wonder #13 or whatever.
Man, yeah, I don't know.
I like every so often Frank Miller threatens people, being like, "I'm working on it. I'm gonna finish." No, you're not, Frank. Come
You're
on.
not.
Yeah.
Anyway, can't wait for Spider-Man 2.
Is Dark Knight 3 done yet? I don't think it
No,
is.
one more issue.
Dude, I forgot that was even being written up until
Everyone
now.
forgot.
Yeah, it's
I don't even think anybody cares anymore, to be honest.
no, it's over.
Its time has passed.
Yeah. It's...
But that's it. That's the show, ladies
yeah,
and gentlemen.
that's the show, guys. Thanks for
Our
coming
time
out,
is also
everybody.
past.
Our time is also past. Yeah, this is the end. Untimely end, my friend. But anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of The Weekly Poll. Always remember, The Weekly Poll and The Weekly Poll are usually every Tuesday at Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. But make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, at Sal Says What, at Cape Joel, at Comics Explain. You can also follow The Weekly Poll on Twitter, and you guys will always know whether or not we go live, if we're going to be going live that day, if we're taking a break, because as you guys know, we had the holiday season, so we ended up taking a break during that time period. But every once in a while, we just really get super busy, and we end up having to postpone for a week or two, especially when it gets around to like all the major conventions and stuff like that. But
Yep.
anyway, guys, so thanks for coming out. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I guess Alan Scott.
Yeah.
Alan Scott. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.